Hello everyone, 124san's here with a Chromatic Cube draft for this time. Chromatic Cube is coming back to Magic for this week until the Edge of Eternity is released. And yeah, if you haven't drafted Cube before, this is basically you're drafting like 3 packs, but it's from a curated list of cards instead of like a set of booster packs. And the thing of this cube is the big and splashy spells like the Magma Opus, 8 mana stuff, and the Virtual Persistence, which is a mana, but Virtual Persistence is also good with the 2 mana mode. This cube is full of a lot of splashy stuff, and because of this, Green and Ramp are the most prioritized cards here. Like getting your Ramp on 2, on 3, and then resolve all your big stuff is a very good play pattern in this cube. But for this pack, I think I just take a Virtual Persistence. It's a big spell later and also 2 mana, -3/-3 something. Just remove their mana dork in the early game. It's quite powerful. Pack 1 pick 2. And yeah, there are a lot of splashy spells here too. Cracker of Power can be Omega big if you can hit like 8 mana or even 11 mana. But for us, how's Nashi? Nashi is actually quite nice if your opponent just doesn't have any blockers period and you get to ninjutsu him out and maybe exile some big spells from him. I actually like this kind of idea a lot. And the Love Throwing Scorn, -3/-3 also helps Nashi getting in, so let's try that. Pick 3. There isn't any removal, no early game ramp. Is there any strong cards that goes with black? Simulcast Command is like 5 mana control spell, and when you can counter a big non-creature spell with this, it's super powerful. And Angrath just acts of treason by -3. Discard card, lose 2 life. Pretty whatever. Thief, this is just a value play. Just get a copy of your opponent's spell and you can cast it later. Or we can just take an early game creature for the Nashi to ninjutsu in, but this is a 1 mana 1/1 without any evasion, so it doesn't help that much. Our butter is kind of weak. I think we take the Simula Command, because this is a 2-for-1 control spell, if we can get to that point. And pack 1 pick 4, we see Ramp in the Celestus and Heaped Harvest. But there are 3 mana ramp instead of 2 mana ramp. 2 mana ramp is much better. And on color card is Sanguine Soothsayer. Flying Lifelink, when it attacks you get a Sanguine. You got a free Sanguine Bond on top. And it's a 2 mana 2/1 Flying Lifelink that works well with Nashi. I think I like this a lot, that I'm gonna take this over 3 mana ramp. And some other good cards. Overlord is a pretty good card, no matter if you cast it on 4 or 6. But yeah, let's take Sanguine Soothsayer. Pick 5, any 2 mana ramp? Of course not. But there's a removal in Pile On, and there's a Crossy Revenant that we don't have any discard or self-mill so far. Or there's an Undersea Silvers that goes with the Simulcast Command, but we're not sure if we're playing blue just yet. I think for now we just take a Power On, because it's an on-color removal. Over the dual land, yeah. Let's take a removal for this. Pick 6. I have a really fun card in Gonti Royal Luxury. Just steals your opponent's best cards from their top 4, and you can cast it later. Or there's Arena only card, Pure Collector. If you gain 4 or more life, you can conjure a Mox Pearl, and you pay white and 2 to give something perpetually lifelink. That works well with Sanguine Soothsayer, but that's pretty much it. Also actually works with Virtual Persistence, but I think I just like Gonti more than this. And yeah, Gondi's Death Touch also makes him easier to get in for Nashi to ninjutsu. Although the Death Touch lifelink can say the same thing. But yeah, I just like Gondi more. That's the reason. Pick 7, we get Nashi number 2 has Menace. And when Nashi deals combat damage, you can mill that many cards, put legendary or enchantment cards from to a hand, and there will be a lot of legendary because of the nature of this cube. And if you're doing big stuff, there's Hydron Archive, but we are not doing that. I think we're actually doing some early game tempo thing. Yeah, I like the idea of tempo more, so let's take Nashi over and nothing else really. Heartbreaker Horror can be a very brutal card in late game, where you just have a bunch of cheap spells and bounce your opponent's everything. Pick 1, pick 8, Mountain Pulse, just sorcery, destroy target non-permanent. And potentially destroying more tokens of the same name. Or we take a land, but we're not sure we're playing white. And we're most likely gonna play blue with Nashi and the Seamoger's Command. Though Mole Drifter doesn't work great with what we have. It's just basically a divination and 5 mana to draw 2 cards. We don't have any blink effect that works well with it. Let's just take a land actually. Pick 9. I think we take a Warzone Duplicator here. We can pay 4 mana to bounce their... Has to be power less than this creature, but if they play a Mana Dork, this can bounce a Mana Dork. And you can get a token of it. Not a token, you can get a whole card copy of this because this is an arena card. You just get an actual card for the game. And pick 10. Does this deck like Taval? I don't think so just yet. The Sorin the Mirthless can -2 make a 2/3 flying lifelink. The first one can draw a card, but it's gonna hurt quite a bit. And any sort of lifelink is gonna work well with Sanguine Bond. Although if you +1 and see a Sanguine Bond, you're still gonna take 5. Pick 11. And Mother Blast is a blink. Is a blink. What is the word for it? Yeah, this can help you blink, but we didn't pick the. Oh wow, I picked one. Anyways, but we didn't pick the Mole Drifter to work with it. It does work with Atris at least. Atris also Menace. That can help Nashi get in. And also you draw at least a card. Or 2 cards even when Atris enters. And under CC Words of Wield, so we take that. I'm not gonna play any of this. And then Hydron Archive, but we are not doing early game stuff. And now we are at pack to pick 1. There's a Oil Deep Gearhulk. If you play on 4, you can force opponent discard a card, or you can discard your own hand, 1 card from your hand and draw a card. Kind of flexible, but the mana cost is pretty steep with 4 color pips. For this one, I think Gig's Yokomo Praetor is better. It helps a lot with the kind of aggro, kind of tempo game plan. Works pretty well with the 2 drops we have, because we draw cards when they get in. Pack 2, pick 2. There's a 2 mana ramp in Guardian Idol, but I think this deck is not trying to do that. This deck is trying to get in with all the creatures. So Mockingbird is actually a good card to try to get in, because at worst it's a 1 mana 1/1 flying that you can ninjutsu off. It doesn't work well with any legendary creatures though, because legendary rules. But yeah, I think I like Mockingbird more than Murder Strider here, just because it's a flexible gameplay, and at worst you can just play on 1. Back to pick 3. It's very hard to come by, very hard to see a 2-mana removal in this set, and sure, it's a very powerful one. You can also get rid of the 2-mana 0/3 Hexproof Mana Dork in green. One of the few cards that can actually do that. Let's take that. And right now we have Power On, Shieldress Edict, Virtual Persistence, and Simulcast Command for interaction. Pack to pick 4. Black Market's connection hurts like way too much, and especially when we have Nashi and Gix that tax our life total. Or we can just take a Rona. And we can even try to attack with Rona to get Nashi in if they have like 0 blockers. Taking Rona over a Clearwater pathway, I think that's a good idea. And yeah, our deck has a lot of legendary stuff, so the 2-mana Nashi is gonna get stuff, and the Ronas can untap from those. Back to pick 5. There's a Massacre Worm that just demolishes opponent's creatures. But it's expensive. So we're taking this or a Shipwreck Marsh that we are 100% playing. I think having a Massacre Worm can be nice, and last time we wheeled the Undercity Sewers, so maybe we can wheel Shipwreck Marsh or the other blue-black land from the earlier packs. So yeah, let's actually take Massacre Worm from this pack and stop taking any more expensive stuff. That's it. Pick 6. Anything for us? There's a Surgical Metamorph that can copy any permanent, and it costs 1 less if you go second. There's also Ashok, Nightmare's Root Moose, make 2/3, and exile top 2 cards of opponent's library, so you can also win with Mill. And -3 is spawn something and they exile a card from their hand. It's quite nice actually, but we just take a late game play and pass a land. So we can take a land now or take Surgical. Let's take a land now. Take some wedges to make sure our spells are castable. Pick 7. The Speed Demon is I think it's quite nice in this deck, because if we just keep getting every turn, this can help refill our hands. Although it also gonna cost our life, it doesn't work well with Gix. But we do have some source of life gain to help with this. So because of this, I think I'm gonna take Speed Demon over Liliana. And we actually doesn't have that many blue cards. I just realized. That's something to keep in mind. Pick 8, we pick Devil or Comeback Ron. I think I like Comeback Ron more because a lot of creatures in this set have enter battlefield ability, so this can work off those. Pick 9. We got the Gear Hold back. I think we can just take this over a tap duel. Yeah, let's just take this. Pick 10, we got both Merger Strider and Seshimar Witch back. Just take Mergers. Pick 11. Let's take Brazen Collector, because of the off chance we dish blue for red, this will be a better card for Nashi. Pick 12, we do get the Clearwater pathway, so we just play that. Pick 13. Let's get a Zealous Conscript in the sideboard. And we got the Asher back, guys.
Listen to my whisper.
Then yeah, looks like we're definitely in blue-black. And we need some early game creatures that works with Nashi and Gix. Like 2-drops, 1-drops. Even though this is a chromatic cube, so 2-drops and 1-drops are not that common. Next we pick 1. There is Abyssal Harvester that works well with discard and removal spells. Or Aether Channeler that's it's a more safe pick because it's gonna work with every mode. But Abyssal Harvester have a lot of upside. Works with Seville, works with Destroy Removal on the opponent's creature. Also works with Oil Deep, Gearhulk, discarding your own hand. Also works with Rona. And yeah, I like this a lot. Let's pick Abyssal Harvester here. Pack 3, pick 2. Chupacabra enters and destroys something, but we have a lot of force already. Concealed Curtains is an early gameplay, but it's a defender. Although there's also a backside where the opponents can force a discard from opponents, which can be quite great in this format. And I don't like Collective Brutality, but the discard card can work well with Abyssal Harvester. So yeah, it's a choice between this two. I think normally I don't like Collective Brutality, but now we have one card that cares about it. Pretty much. I'm gonna take this. Pack 2, pick 3, there is like Uro banned in a billion formats, a pretty good card, especially for this cube. Sadly, we are not doing the shenanigans. And Nicol Bolas is a very sweet late game play. You just like +1 to empty opponent's hand, and then you just win because opponent have nothing left. But for this one, we take Cosmic Bronco because this is a pretty good early game play. And with Settle 3, you can also force opponents to lose life when you reveal a card with mana value. Pick 4. Rockers Rakshasa can work well with Nashi and Giggs, and the Renew can disable all the blocker from the opponent's side. Or we can just take a safe pick in Drawing Equal. That just -4/-4 and remove something. Or there's an even safer pick, which is a dual land. Yeah, let's just take a dual land here actually. And for pick 5, we have a lot of good cards. Thief of Sanity steals something when he gets in. Clone Crafter steals when he enters, also works well with Nashi. And Water Grave is a dual land shock duel. And Extinction Event is a very situational board wipe if you want that, but I think I like Clone Crafter a lot here. Like that. Pick 6. Clever Impersonator. Usually I just don't like this kind of card, period. Cloak Cost Haste versus Within Torment, I think between these two, but Within Torment lose 2 life, that's a little bit much for my liking. Let's take Cloak Cost Haste here, but I don't think I want to play it though. Pick 7, for this one we can take a Reckoner Bankbuster, but that's more for like a control strategy than our aggro / tempo. I think we take Phyrexian Metamorph. This can just copy the best artifact or creature on board and only costs 3 mana, which is a very good cost for this kind of effect. Pick 8. One with Multiverse is way too expensive, so the most valuable card here is the Crocodile. And then it stabs the wound on anything on the board. So maybe you can just win off that. It is like a kind of redundant with Massacre Worm though. Pick 9, Squall Troller versus Mirror Room. Don't think this plays Mirror Room, let's just take a Squall Troller. Don't think we are playing that even. And for this one, we just take Concealing Curtains. And we need to cut a lot of cards actually. I don't think this deck plays Simulcast Command because we just don't. We're not gonna hold up 5 mana for just one instant spell. And we still need to make more cuts even after that. 11. Here's a Horn Lockwell, which is more for control strategy than aggro. Pick 12. Rockers Rakasha came back, maybe we'll play that. And Hidezuku Carry came back, but we like it though. We don't have any big instant or sorcery, so that's actually not doing too great. Not gonna lie. take a Withing Torments here. And now we head to the deck building. We are at 25 spells, so we need to cut 2 more from here. We have a lot of 4-drops. Like Warzone Duplicator is another 4-drop. I think Soaring is the weakest actually. Let's just cut that. And we cut 1 more. I like the other 2 drops here. They all have Enter the Battlefield effects. It works with Nashi. And just Nashi, that's pretty much it. And the Speed Demon is a pretty good play on 5, where you can just start attacking for damage. And the Mockingbird, just play this for a 1 minute as a 1 minute 1/1 if we have Nashi in hand. And we are actually kind of lacking on 3, so kind of regret not taking more 3 drops. Or we can play the Concealing Curtains as a 3 drop. That's actually a good idea. But that means we need to cut 1 more card. And among the 2 mana cards, I like Concrafter for this. Rona works well with Abyssal. Sanguine Soothsayer. That's just an evasive measure, that's also quite nice. I think we just cut Rakshasa. And this is the most situational among the bunch. Like without any other cards, this is just 2 mana deal 5, and then you can renew it later, but I just don't like the idea of a 2 mana deal 5 and it just dies. And I don't think this deck has that much synergy with it. It does help with Nashi because no one's gonna block bats though. But we also have a lot of other cards already. Plus, it's not like opponents gonna have a lot of blockers in this Chromatic Cube set. And still need to cut 1 more card. What was Shock? Bounce something, exile a card. I think Shock is kind of too slow in this deck to my liking. Let's cut Shock, and I think that's pretty much it. We play more black than blue because we have a lot of 2 black paper cards, and we just have more black cards in general than blue cards. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Blue-black tempo / aggro deck, which is not kind of the mainstream strategy in the Chromatic Cube, but hopefully this works. And let's head to the gameplay. Alright. Game 1, we have a 2 into a 3-drop removal. Ideally, we want 3-drop creature, but this also do. We also have a lot of cards to get with Nashi. That's gonna help. And if they play something with Enter the Battlefield effect, come back round, it's gonna be good against those. Draw a Virtual Persistence, another removal. We need a land and a spell and ideally a 3-drop to play. Although if they play a if they play a early game removal, it just break this hand. Oh well. That's too bad. And Warzone Duplicator can bounce the Agent of Roughing, which is actually quite nice. Let's just do that right now. If they didn't play Agent of Roughing, this turn is gonna be so bad for us, but they did. So we get our own agent, and we can just like destroy their agent after they replay it. Although we are black heavy, but we drew 3 islands before we draw another swamp. Wow, that's kind of surprising. I'm not gonna lie. And oh, Nashi can get in actually, but do we bank on the idea that Warzone Duplicator can survive? But even if Nashi doesn't dies before Nashi can get in, we still have Warzone Duplicator to cast after this. So I think that's good enough. Let's go to combat. Yeah, let's ninjutsu this in, and most likely this is not gonna get it. Because they have like 4 mana up. It can also be a counter spell. We get in, we exile 2 cards and play one of those. I think we just actually play a land instead of a 7 mana 5/5 and lose 7 life. Getting land drop is important after all. And let's play our own Agent of Roughing. And hold up this Mockingbird. Alright, their instance we play is Maran River Tyrant, which I was gonna say they can play next turn, but they shuffle it back into the deck, but they cannot. And now we do have like 2 Agents Roughing near each other. To steal opponent's card. Virtual Persistence. I also have that. Ether Channeler. Bounce our thing, which is fine, and miss a land drop again. If we draw exactly a swamp, Massacre Worm is very good on this board. But for now, I think we can bounce the Aether. If we bounce the Aether Channeler, they just bounce back. I don't like the idea actually, but we can just bounce the Agent of Roughing. And play one. And if they play the Virtual Persistence, that's actually gonna be bad. Because we don't have any enchantment removal. We didn't play the 3 mana destroy target enchantment spells. Harsh the Tentacles. We cannot bounce it because of power issue, but it's a 0 mana value, so we can play Mockingbird. Right. Any creature on the battlefield, yeah, it doesn't care. It doesn't care about token or non-token. So let's just do this. And then we play the agent. Probably don't need 2 agents, so let's just play curtains. Oh, actually, Octopus can be bounced, but that's not a token. That's still a card. So fine to me. And they're conjuring a lot of Fibbleflips. And if they get 1 Fibbleflip down, they can start casting the top part of their library and play lands. But yeah, it's gonna be Aether Channeler bounce Octopus. And then we still don't draw our land 7 and still don't have a second black. This is quite sad, not gonna lie. We can copy their Aether Channeler to make a 1/1, or we can just, if we play Abyssal Harvester, we cannot transform this, and there isn't any discard outlet to help with this actually. What's Warzone Duplicator? We just bounce that and then we get our own copy. I actually like that idea if they're gonna cast Virtual Persistence and get our creature later, but actually no, let's just do Concealing Curtains first. Fibbleflip, Gale. Or we can play around Gale if they just hold mana up for the rest of their lives. And they already have 8 Fibbleflip in their decks. I think we'll get rid of Ashok here. Although we also help them to draw more lands. There's also something. Time overused. I think we just play the Agent Roughing and the Virtue this 2/1. And attacking. Or we actually could have pay 2 to use this. Yeah, maybe I should do that instead. Oh well. Extinction for odd. Well, that's the card they top deck, and that's pretty fortunate for them. For everything to be an odd mana value. Although that means that they don't have Chaos Redirection, so if we top deck a land, we can just cast Virtual Persistence. Alright, we did. Nice. I think this is the strongest play over anything else that we can do. And the flip of it ties to Mystical Worm so much. Let's just do this. Before the Gale is up. And yeah, they don't have anything to deal with a Virtual Persistence just yet. They are gonna Fibble Flip, draw a card, and if they tap out, I'm just gonna Massacre Worm. They're gonna steal my card and hold up 5 mana, sure. In that case, I think I get Ether Channeler because draw a card is quite nice. And then they're just gonna have a Gale's Redirection for anything we do, which is not great. It's not like they have any other instance for now though. I don't want to give them Warzone Duplicator, so let's just cast Mockingbird. Oh, Mockingbird can actually be used to bounce that. Oh, that's something nice to know about. The other question is, do we play Abyssal Harvester into their Gale? I think we actually do, because if they counter this, Massacre Worm is quite great against that. Yep. 7. Alright, so they have to spend mana to cast that, that's fine. Yeah, Massacre Worm is lining up quite well if they just play Abyssal Harvester. And more Fiddle Flip. Sap Sunan. Not great, but if we can get rid of their board, we can just Shieldred's Edict, make them sacrifice this. Keep Harvest. And they only have 2 mana left. I don't know what kind of counter spell is in this cube. I am just gonna cast Massacre Worm next turn. And only I have creature this time, so let's just get a Nashi. And we can actually block with Aether Channel. I should have thought about that. Oopsies. I should block with Aether Channel so we get it back. Anyways, let's try to play this Massacre Worm. And then she'll just edicts this Subsunan. Alright, they have nothing. Yep, that's -4, and then sack a non-token creature. One of the very few cards that can get around this indestructible. And yeah, we are in a very good spot right now. And we can reanimate their Subsunan. Saiba Siphoner. Gets back, bounce everything, which includes their Aether Channeler actually. Also bounces Virtual Persistence, oh well. But they're a very dangerous life total right now. So Massacre Worm can get them in late game. And they do get a Cyber Siphoner back, so they can just keep doing that forever. Something to look out for. And yeah, this is kind of the shenanigans you'll see in these cube drafts. Very many shenanigans. Saiba, Aether, they have a lot of stuff. They can just keep crush the tentacles every turn. Damn. We don't have any... We do not have any ways to exile the graveyard. Okay, let's get our 8-8 again for this time. And then play as many cards as possible. And Speedy Monk also helps draw some card. And we have a pile on if we need to do that. And how? Oh, Surge. You need to Surge with it, but they're 100% surging with Cyber Siphoner. Yeah, the worst thing right now is they just Cyber Siphoner crush tentacles every time. So I don't have a board state. I think we just block here. We are not gonna have any creature up if they just do that again. Yep. Alright, so the $1,000,000 question is there any way to get around this bounce everything every turn gameplay from their side? We need a haste creature, but sadly we don't. Or flash. Flash also helps. We don't have that either. Or we Massacre Worm and destroy something they have. But they're still at 5 right now. We can certainly just draw more cards right now before they have anything. Collective Brutality. It's target opponents lose life, 2 life, and you gain 2 life. That's a very important line of text. Yeah, I think we just block. We are not gonna get anything in. And Collective Brutality, that's gonna help a lot. So with these two... Huh? With these two, that's like 4 life already. But they also have Heaped Harvest that can sack. Oh, Liliana just gonna -2.
And you think you can win? Ah, I've always hated crowds.
Lantern Revealing, they have 4 mana left. we can try to -2 their Aether Channel right now, but I think I don't like the idea. I like the idea of Warzone Duplicator bounce the Aether Channel and Aether Channel bounce the Octopus. But now they have a Liliana on board. They also have like 4 mana up. That we are not gonna just win on spot. Let's try this. Rewind. Yeah. Alright, now we know they have that. And that's everything we have here. Cyber Siphoner. Maybe they'll get back Rewind this time. Needs Immortals. Oh, that is a one-sided board wipe. Pretty terrible, actually. And they can also just bounce their own -4 base. And they do know our Masker Worm, so they're not gonna overextend. I'm just gonna discard Nashi. Nashi is a kind of weak right now. And we are definitely gonna Collective Brutality their hand. But they tap out? That's surprising, actually. If they tap out, we can Massacre Worm, that's like a -4, pile on, and then Collective Brutality. And we just have enough mana to do that? Let's do it. Wait, that goes to the bottom. That goes to exile something? That doesn't count? Oof. And then that goes to 4. So we actually don't win just yet, actually. Oh boy, that is painful. And then this is just... Oh, I should have read the Cyber Siphoner's text. Oh, and because of this, I think we are not gonna win. Because they have like an infinite value with Case of the Lost Witness and Liliana of the Veil, which is just gonna -2 this turn. Oh, terrible. That's why I hate arena cards, because they have like a hidden line of text that just prevents them from dying. Yeah, if the arena card just dies, we just win on spots, but because of that, they have 2 life left. Oh, damn. 0-1 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are at game 2. We have a 2-lander, but we have Rona that helps with it, Cervelle that helps with it. Also have a 1-drop, but we cannot play this unless we top deck a Swamp. That's good enough. We just don't play this on 1. Wayfarer's Bubble, that means they're gonna ramp next turn. Let's just play Sewers and Cervelle land. Yep. And then Rona to start looting. And Shooter Idiots and Virtue against anything they play. Hopefully they just resolve like a one thing so we can get rid of it with either of these cards. Well, that is the one thing that we cannot play around with. And just like last time, we don't have the enchantment removal. But does it mean we should play the play that removal instead? Yeah, I think so. Primeval Herald. That's to Virtue. Or we can just like, oh no, we don't want this to attack and get in. Or we can do the actually I think we do the Shieldred's Edicts, even though this dies to Virtue, because now we can do flip and get rid of the big thing that can play next turn. 1, 2, like Volbone Tyrant is very big. Oh, the Ugin is also very big. Yeah. Such as the nature of this draft. Oh well. If they have any land, they can just cast any of the big spells and we just lose because they have those. Hey, if I play Mockingbird, they can just White Sun's Twilight. If I don't, they can just Ugin. Wow, that is tough.
Resources are equilibrium.
Yeah, this is also one of the reasons I don't like Chromatic Cube is because I just don't like this kind of play pattern. Just ramp into big things and you just win with big things. And maybe because of this we should play some interactions, maybe? Traffic Steed.
The wise.
And yeah, that's gonna be get out of the hand very soon. And at least Collective Vitality gets rid of that. And you have to attack Ugin every turn. That's also a thing. I think we just Clone Crafter because we're gonna Mockingbird next turn. Yeah, White Sun's gone. And we need to attack into Ugin every turn. At least Ugin doesn't have any removal attached to him unless they play colorless spells. Oh! Oh my god. I just forgot about the legendary claws. I should have copied their stuff instead of mine. Ugh. I just take the power with more cards every time. And next turn we can do Virtual Persistence.
Restrain your emotion. Insight is vital to success.
Don't know what they have other than Sune. And if we can get the Reanimate in, we can just get their War Tyrant. Oh, Sune is instant? I forgot about that. Damn. But it's not like I forgot, it's like I just don't know about it because it's like arena only card. Another one. Okay, please don't cast colorless spells. I'm gonna be very mad if you do that. Alright, that
Plan bears fruit.
Mask of Worm can get rid of 2 of this stuff. Fine. And we get a War 1 Tyrant. I don't think there's anything better. Moondra Glory Dominus. Oh. Okay, now Ugin is down. It's finally dealt with. We can cast this and tap our entire board. Oh, unless they somehow have a counter spell just now. They don't have a counter spell before. And maybe they just think they're just gonna sack these two. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we pile on. That's Ugin, Murder Strider, Gonti, both are very good cards. Nothing I actually want to destroy is on board, so let's just Gonti. Yeah, Gonti can help us find more sweet cards from their opponents. And does this reanimate a Planeswalker? Nope. What do we get next? Oh wait, if we survive to the graveyard, we can get it back. Oh, I forgot about that. Oopsie daisy. Exile. Wow, Oscar Polymorph. Seek a creature card in Sanguine Soothsayer, and our deck is shuffled. This shuffles our deck. Damn. Mockingbird does nothing. Interest as it enters battlefield effect. Is there any more power? Nope, there's no more power thing. Only thing we actually cared about ramping. I think it's Atris. And we can actually attack with yeah, but Abyssal Harvester. Wow, that's better card actually. It got me there. Very good. But now we can attack with Volbon Tyrant. And if it goes to their graveyard, we can just reanimate it again. Or we can cast this Speed Demon first, so we get the speed going. And then an Oil Deep Gearhawk. We are drawing from our decks, so. Oh, actually just lands? Wow. That's very surprising. If it double lock, I just get it back. And we are actually gonna die to our own Speed Demon. So we need to spend a removal on that. And next turn, I think we just copy Gonti and then steal the best cards from their stuff, and they just gave up. And yeah, we are gonna deck out if we just don't deal with our own Speed Demon. But yeah, this is definitely not a good feeling when you have like so many lands. All right, we actually get one win, 1-1. But before starting our next game, I think we want the enchantment removal because there's so many busted enchantments here. So let's get rid of Calm Background and get the Weaving Torrents in. The second question is, how good is the Steamugger's command? Return target permanent. You can bounce something. Yeah, you don't have to keep this up for the counter, but it's a very good heft against any board wipes. I think that's a good reason to play. Though right now we need to cut one more card. I like all my 2-drops actually. Think we cut the Concealing Curtains. I just don't like to play with this card, does it? Yeah, in Cube sometimes it's not just if this card is strongest, sometimes if you want to play with this card, that's also a very important factor. Because playing cube is about having fun. And then we are at game 3. Starting with a 2-drop. Need to draw a land for the Firesim Metamorph. Kind of risky. Not gonna keep. I didn't keep it because they didn't keep. That's the only reason. And for this one, we can just bottom the Collective Brutality and call it a day. And Virtual Persistence is gonna cover the early game removal if we need to. I do want some kind of 2-drop, though. Milled Kaikar, Zephyr Awakener. And need a land. Let's keep this land. And hopefully they play the creature. Right now. Please, pretty please. And yeah. If they don't play a creature, then the Collective Brutality is actually a better card here. Oh well. And if they play a creature, I can just Murder Strider that. They didn't, so we can instead play Gix. And hopefully it doesn't get countered. It doesn't. Doesn't eat removal either. And next turn is quite flexible. They play a tap land, so they only have 3 mana, and then we can try to Nashi, but we don't have to because Gix also draws a card. Let's just attack and see what they got. You get in, we draw a card. I think we just oil deep. And we got to see their hand. Any good 4-drop. Here Asunder. There's gonna be 3 mana to exile this. I don't like any of this, to be honest, but Shieldred I like the least. Let's go with Shieldred. Actually, maybe I should get of Golos, because Golos is the most unique card they have. Or maybe we should target ourselves, but we drew a land, so... I think we just play Nashi as it is, instead of holding up. Because we have removal to help Nashi getting. And we are spending Murder Strider on the Golos. Because they are gonna hit the Rainbow Mana next turn. If they just cast Golos right now. And if Nashi can get in, we are in heaven. Yep. It's fine if they get a lot of lands, but no way to use them. Going to a land, which is actually nice here. I'm gonna murder you. Sorry, pal. And then we just attack with Nashi. Or we can attack with Rona to do more damage. Actually, let's attack with both. And then we cast Relic of Legends here. Which is gonna help us with the 7th mana. And Virtual Persistence, what does it get back? We get back Shieldred, Golos, it's very powerful. And right now they are Menagerie and Fable Altar, they're pretty much doomed. From what I can tell, because we can Massacre Swarm. And then Relic of Legends. Oh, and then Virtue this. It's gonna be a lot of life, and then we attack in. Play a land. And we just win. Unless this card is like a Sunfall. I don't even know if Sunfall is in this cube. It just sounds like way too powerful. In a set all about big stuff. Casualties of war. It is like a very good thing, but yeah, it's not good enough. Alright. This is pretty sweet. We finally get some momentum going after the devastating and long game 1. Yeah, that game 1 was like so long compared to the other 2 games we have currently so far. 2-1 heading into game 4. Alright, we are at game 4 of the Chromatic Cube draft. We start with 3-lander, can cast Collective Brutality and rip cards off of their hand. I think I'm just gonna do that. It's a keeper. Unless they play a 1-drop. Nope, they didn't. Or we have a Mockingbird that we can just Nashi out over Collective Brutality. Actually, I like the idea. I am a 1-mana 1/1 flyer. Do you want to spend a removal on me? Wee, ninjutsu this. And drawing equal you. Didn't get any good cards. Oh well. And alright, need to keep in mind, Mockingbird, if you copy this, is not good. And that's legendary. And if they play any blockers, we just... Yep, of course. Now we have a Phyrexian Metamorph that doesn't do anything. And yeah, this is kind of awkward. We can just rip their Instant Sorcery. Exorcist, and grab Prosper. They're gonna cast Prosper next turn. I think I'm just gonna Phyrexian Metamorph that. Path of Exile. I'm very happy to see a Path. Not that's happy, but I'm fine if they Path of Exile my stuff. That's what I mean. And Mockingbird also pays 4 mana to copy that. So let's do it. Let's mark this Prosper Tomebound. And we got a land, which is what we're gonna play next turn. Oh wait, they can Act of Treason. But I also copy mana value, so they should be fine. They shouldn't be able to Act of Treason this. Yep, they Path of Exile. Okay, we get a blue. Yeah, they help us ramp. And I'm very grateful for that. And then the Angrath, I'm not very grateful of that.
No fire, no steel.
This card's gonna hurt. At least the only thing you can do is discard. The other modes are not the best. And that thing though, ooh, that's very brutal. If you play a Speed Demon and just like instantly die, do that. Oh, they just keep having a removal after removal. Oh, screw it. For this turn thing, we just copy the Prosper. And if you play this card's gonna get us. And yeah, I actually misplayed because I could have copied this first and then played Stomp.
No fire, no steel.
6er, no? And Kaya is -3 to exile. If they want to do that. And then another removal? Wow. Don't think this game is going anywhere if those are what they have. Yeah, let's just save our mental energy for next game. We're not gonna win against like every single removal being exiled with Prosper. Ah, that's pretty unfortunate. 2-2 heading into game 5. Alright, we're at game 5. Hopefully things goes better this time. The last game was also pretty brutal. Opponents goes first, but we can collective brutality on 2. That's pretty much it, I guess. I think just gonna keep this. Tap land. Let's also get our tap land dealt with. Power on. Perfect to keep. Actually, hopefully they can play something I can kill. Nice. Oh yeah, this turn is gonna be collective brutality. I think I also +1. Just to rip an instant sorcery. Yeah, Portent of Calamity. Well, at least there's some. And they're not gonna do anything next turn. And then we play our Gix. And the Mockingbird or Metamorph can copy whatever they have next turn. Or we just pile on. Well, there's no way to get rid of the enchantment afterwards. But yeah. The best thing we can have here is something that can bounce their stuff, but sadly we don't. I think we pile on right here. We do need Shooter's Edicts. Do we need Abyssal Harvester? I don't think so. And maybe we draw a land after the Shooter's Edict. And next turn is gonna be Edicts the 4/4. If we draw land, we can also metamorph this Sphinx and then Edict. And if we actually do the copy this last turn, and when our creature dies, it also comes back as an enchantment. Oh, that's gonna be strange. Oh yeah, now we cannot copy because we cannot copy just enchantment. We are gonna take a lot of damage though, because +2 and haste. Okay, so that plan this turn just that's fine. And then we just get rid of this Sphinx. And we didn't draw land. Within Torments is a card that can destroy enchantment. Don't think I want to do that actually. We just play Cronecrafter and Shooter's Edict. Oh wait, we could have attacked first. Oh well. You second non-token creature. Yeah, maybe we draw a land, then I just regret what we did. Yeah, and yep, of course. My bad. Should have attacked first. Lessons learned. If they just play like one big thing, now we have the Within Torm to deal with it. They don't have anything just yet, so they draw a card from the clue. Play a land. Now they tap for Rainbow because one of the land is a War Tree. Average Mystic, that's gonna be a 3/1. I'm perfect just blocking that. Because Cronecrafter has already done its job and need to preserve my life total a little bit. For this one, we can go Vayne Hydra for the maximum or leave some mana up. I think we just go for the maximum. And then we pay 2 life and draw 2 cards. And we still have a blocker. we are lacking blue. If we untap, we can copy a Golden Hydra. But no, it's gonna be a 0/0, so let's just scry one. Seamoger's command is great. If we still have these on the board. Siege Gang Commander. Alright, do we just die? Not just yet, but if they attack with all, we have to block 4/2. And then we... And then we still just actually die because you can stack a Goblin to deal phase. Oh wow! Yeah, that's really brutal. And very unfortunate for this run. It's a very swift end because we paid too much life, I guess. And yeah, we don't have any good ways to deal with the enchantment because most of our removals are destroy based. And yeah, tough. And let's take a look at another deck. I take another look at this deck. That's what I mean. Yeah, this deck is trying to play these creatures on curve and then just to attack in and get value like with gigs. And also have some sort of late game plan with like Massacre Worm and Speed Demon draws cards, Virtual Persistence, a removal early, and in late game just reanimate stuff every turn. But yeah, I think this deck is decent, but if your opponents can survive the early game and cast all the big stuff later, then there's no way I can compete with that. But sadly, most of the time it's gonna be like this because that's how Chromatic Cube goes. Alright, thank you so much for watching this Chromatic Cube draft, and see you in the next one.